Today is January 28, 2023. It's a Saturday. And I remembered something from back then when I was a teenager, maybe 16 or 17-year-old. During high school, this experience really impacted my life, and I hope has something to be shared, and you can appreciate the message. I always had a desire to solve problems, especially problems that had to do with geometry, was very attractive to me. And I was good at geometry somewhat. And I remember that my teacher at that time was Mr. Shaverdi, that he asked me one day to stay longer at school and work with the class on some problems of geometry, because the following day he wanted to give us the test, and the students could use some extra experience in handling the geometry questions. And I had a book that was authored by Safari and Qurbani, people who are familiar with Persian background in high school. That was one of the popular books of geometry solution. So I took a few of those examples that the book had, and I showed the students how the solution worked. The students the following day took the test. I am also took the test, and surprisingly, Mr. Shaverdi, the teacher, some of the questions that I had already asked came in the exam. And the students were besides themselves. They answered it and they aced the exam. And a few days later, Mr. Shaverdi told me, how did you do this? I am a teacher and I have not accomplished something like this that you did in one night. And he didn't know I was just lucky. But he, from that point on, put a label on me that stuck. He said, "You are the star of geometry." From that point on, he wouldn't even see my questions, check my answers. He would just put A on top of all my papers. The way he treated me, I felt that I was obligated to meet his standard by being a good student. And the way he treated me with dignity and with respect, it continued. And I believe other teachers of the high school also heard this from him, maybe, and they started treating me as something unusual or something special, and I wanted to didn't want to disappoint them, and I wanted to meet that kind of expectations. So I started getting better and better in my school on all my studies. I noticed some of my teachers who were treating me like a good student. Sometimes they would ask me something, for example, something on social studies or on history, other than math and algebra and geometry, which I was good at, but on those other science books, other subjects, and the moment they saw that I was hesitating in answering, they would say something like, yes, just like you say, and they would go on and give their answer. So they would keep my dignity and my respect and my reputation as somebody who was a good student. And this kind of behavior impacted me because I wanted to be as good as they treated me. To my mother, of course, I was the best student and best of everything, and to every mother that's the case. But in this situation, I didn't want to just meet the standards of my mother. I was almost embarrassed not to make an effort to be as good as I could be. And this carried on my life. This carried on other challenges on my life. The way we treat people, they rise to that point. If we treat them with dignity, love, and respect, they will have respect, and they will more than likely become the way they are treated. And I hope this is something I do with my life, and something you can do with your life, with your students, with your co-workers, with your people who work under you or above you or anywhere. Treat everyone with dignity and with respect, and see that your own dignity and respect will increase just like theirs will do. Bye.